Okay, we're at Long Beach Rising, about to hit a little movement breakdown on these two crazy comp style climbs that Ollie set. We got like a backwards 360 like spin thing, and then a mega pocket to bop 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 bop, and potentially you can do the whole thing in one motion. But before we just get heinously sweaty and into that, you gotta check out these rock holds. Shout out to Grayston. He's been finding these holds. This one's maybe from like Black Mountain or potentially just from a parking lot where he saw some cool rocks, but been molding them. That thing's a unit. It's actually been so sick to be able to climb on these things and basically maintain like rock skin and just like the try-hard grit of having to pull on like heinously bad crimps. This is the climb. Start there and there, finish up there. It's some sort of campus and then paddle sequence. And then over here, these things are definitely jugs, but the positioning is really interesting, especially with this angle change. I feel like I've got a lot to learn on these like 360 moves, just getting more specific with like how my body moves in the air and like being able to visualize that sequence and how to like generate that spin. So that's kind of what I'm gonna try and break down. Might throw in some like little warm-up paddles and that sort of thing, but mostly trying to keep it specific to these guys. So sick having a crew and a whole gym to yourself. Vibes are off the charts. About to hop on blue and red now after mandatory long ass warm up. Pretty psyched, feeling good. I think I understand the move now. I need to be looking way sooner, and then where I'm looking is gonna help guide my hips and feet and hands. Also trying to slow it down, which goes for like every coordination move, or honestly any move. Like if you're falling a bunch, try the opposite of what you're doing. So either try and go really fast, or usually it's like try and slow it down, and you'll understand a bit more about the move and just have like more time to process on the wall to find like that middle ground.
Nice. Whoa. Yeah.
We got it. But we found the top. I rushed it. I got a little excited. The audio on that clip was actually hilarious. We can definitely do it a lot smoother. Definitely try and get it maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times in a row. And try and be a little bit softer on the landing for that first move. Three for 3. Pretty psyched with that because it felt nowhere close for the first like 20 goes. Maybe not 20, but a good amount of goes. Honestly, I haven't been doing hard compy things for a while, so this is like such good practice for me, just getting used to weird movements and trying to break them down. I'd say the biggest concept that, well, the one little thing that helped me really unlock it was just looking through my shoulder and like trying to spot the hold sooner than later. But for that to be effective, I think the most important like fundamental tip is thinking about your hips, thinking about your body position when you're on this as just a pendulum. So if you started with your hands here and someone just carried your feet, like pulled your feet up to the right, where would you want them? Like think of it very three-dimensionally so that when they let go, you just swing into this hold, right? Imagine if I was just swinging to this and catching with my left hand and not doing this whole 360 shenanigans, I would want to carry I would want that person. So imagine someone's hanging here and someone grabs their feet and just pulls them up to the right here. Where would you want them so that when I let go, they just whoop, perfectly swing and land in this end position? So that's really the fundamental tip here. And then from there, you can get more complicated with how are you going to initiate the swing and all of that. But understanding where you want your hips for that secondary movement is so important. And really, that understanding allows you to adjust how you generate from the very beginning. Instead of jumping from here to here, I'm jumping to get my hips and my whole body in this line so that I can just spin around. And then the rest of it's not crazy. The feet are quite bad, so just keeping directional pressure into the feet is really important, as well as directional pressure into that. So pushing up here and pushing down here and keeping that force as you move up here. So your body's just suspended while all these limbs are doing independent work. That's like a whole nother concept I could talk about forever, but being very comfortable attributing like different pressures and having each limb do a different direction of force while still keeping your center of gravity and like torso all moving in one direction. All right, on to the next one. Okay, hold breakdown. These ones are not good. The pocket is quite good. Those ones are solid. The rest isn't too bad, but I want to see if I can do it all in one motion. The kip, basically, you're here and here spun around, and it's a kind of a similar like hip weird generation thing just to get under this. And then if your hips are down here, then the bop bop is not crazy. But it's really weird to spin from here to get to here. So right now my goal is to really lead with my left hip so I can go bop and then shoot up from there. Holy, that might be the best climb I've done in a minute. And it wasn't any harder than flip-flops. Actually, yeah. Big shout out to Ollie for setting both of those. Absolutely cooking. Yeah, all in the hips. The first couple attempts, I was like arcing actually too much and landing and then having to like regenerate too vertically and like pulling myself out off the paddle hold. Yeah, first couple attempts, I was hitting this and going like down, and then I was generating well, but I was generating like too up and not far enough over. So it took a second to, honestly, it took me longer than it should have to realize like end position, hips are like hanging here. So I need to be farther left here. So I can, when I pull, I'm going bop, bop, rather than from here going out to this and my hips swinging out like here instead of that way. Hopefully these finger motions are really conveying the nuances of this complicated comp style triple clutch thing. I'm pretty psyched with linking the cross under to this and then back and going straight into it is really helpful. The more you readjust on stuff, just the more tired you get, the less accurate the swing is going to be. And in the case of the cross under, I hit it, I already have swing, so the back generation is way easier. So I'm adding a little bit of momentum actually. I'm like pouring up and pulling with my left bicep to try and get my hips a little bit farther back to the left. So when I swing, I can generate all the way over and land on that first starting sloper, that guy, with enough momentum to sink into it and then give myself room, space to fully regenerate, and then the rest of it kind of just tucks you where you need to go. But it's still really fast Porto, and I made it a little bit more complicated than it needed to be, but that's how you train. Like that's how you should train, is like trying to make climbs more flowy, more complicated, and then your level for what's comfortable just gets way higher and you just feel more confident on movement like that. Yeah, okay, that's all. Psyched to do some more of these debriefs and get into more detail. Big shout out to Long Beach Rising, Arcteryx, the whole Earth Slip crew for doing these nights. Chalkra, friction comes from within. Madrock, I've been climbing in the new Remoras. Check out the link in the description. They're amazing for slabby stuff. The heel's insane, crazy comfy. Yeah, overall been liking those a lot. That's all. Peace. Come on, Noah. Yo.